Ink and Infamy. Mr. Hartwell's protest against the modern novel. Imagine Fleet Street, London, 1725. The air smells of ink, coffee, and moral decay. Gentlemen, permit me to introduce myself, Mr. Jonathan Hartwell, poet, essayist, and occasional contributor to The Spectator. A man who, unlike most of the present age, still holds that letters exist to elevate the soul, not to tickle the fancy. You will find me most mornings at Will's Coffee House, quill in hand and patience running short, surrounded by men who chatter of new novels and as though gossip were a branch of philosophy. I protest. These novels breed folly faster than wit. Once, literature refined manners and ennobled thought. Now, the press, who was once a temple of truth, traffics in trifles. The poet's careful labors are buried beneath an avalanche of printed scandal, each new tale more shameless than the last. And who are its most ardent disciples? Idle women and impressionable youths, whose minds, unfortified by reason, are easily led astray by tales of love, crime, and repentance, worn thin by repetition. Take, for instance, Mr. Defoe's notorious Moll Flanders. I grant the author pretends his intent is moral instruction, but I see through the disguise. His so-called heroine recounts her sins with such relish that repentance seems merely the aftertaste of pleasure. When Moll sighs, "I was undone by the vanity of my own desire," we are told it is a confession, but to my ear, it is boast disguised as sorrow. The phrasing is tender, almost poetic. Undone, vanity, desire. What reader, especially a young woman with time upon her hands, will not linger over these words as if they're perfume? The line teaches not humility, but the dangerous sweetness of self-pity. And again, when she claims, "The devil carried me out and laid his baits for me." Observe the language. The devil himself becomes a sportsman. Temptation is his sport. Vice is thus rendered lively, almost charming. The reader, meant to recoil, instead feels a perverse curiosity. This, gentlemen, is the poison of the modern novel. It dresses sin in the garb of wit and calls it repentance. The defenders of such works cry out that they teach by example, that we must show wickedness in order to condemn it. But tell me, if a tale dwells for 20 chapters upon theft and seduction, and only one upon remorse, what lesson will the imagination retain? It is like feeding a child sweetmeats and hoping he will remember the sermon afterwards. Some point to Defoe's Robinson Crusoe as a more sober specimen. True, Crusoe labors and prays, but even there, the balance of instruction and adventure is corrupted. A man learns less of providence than of carpentry. The reader's eye follows not heavenward, but towards the next contrivance of survival. Thus, even a pious story is spoiled by the very machinery of the novel form. Too much action, too little reflection. But it is the influence upon women that most alarms me. Well, our age already suffers from idleness, vanity, and the worship of fashion. Now comes the novel, whispering into every lady's ear that she too might be a hero. She reads of Moll's escapes and begins to find her own husband dull. She reads of seductions and calls it sentiment. What begins in imagination soon ends in indiscretion. Shall we then encourage our daughters to dream of thieves and lovers, rather than tend to virtue and household order? As Mr. Addison widely observed in The Spectator, the mind is naturally serious and should not be put off with the toys of fiction. Indeed, the woman who fills her head with fancies may soon forget the duties of reason, and that gentleman is the danger no society can afford. I am told that poetry is old-fashioned, that the world no longer has patience for verse. I reply that poetry at least inspires to beauty and order. Virtues the novel knows nothing of. A sonnet may stir the heart, but it will not corrupt it. A novel, by contrast, excites the senses and unmans the reason. It teaches readers to feel before they think, a ruinous habit for any nation that hopes to remain virtuous. So, I end as I begin. I protest. These novels breed folly faster than wit. If we prize virtue, let us read philosophy. If we prize beauty, let us read verse. But if we must have fiction, let it at least be governed by truth, not titillation. Until then, I, Jonathan Hartwell, shall keep my ink for better uses, and leave the novels to those who prefer their morals printed upside down.